Hey there, and welcome to an Ignite Press Livecast. I'm really excited today because I've got with us here today Wendy Gates-Corbett, and you're going to get to meet her and learn her story. And she's going to share ways that you can create a very inclusive workplace and bring people together so that they feel like they belong there. So be excited to bring her on here in just a moment. At the same time, I want to share with you that here at Ignite Press, we specialize in helping people bring their messages to the world through books, a very timeless medium. It's been working for millennia, and books still work today. So if you have an idea for a book, if you've been considering writing a book or have a message you'd like to get out to the world, reach out to us at Ignite Press at ignitepress.us. And I'd be happy to have a consultation with you. We can talk about your book and your dreams. So I'd like to bring on our special guest. And Wendy has just written a wonderful book. And this is The Energy of Belonging, 75 Ideas to Spark Workplace Community. Available today on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. And let's get Wendy on here. Wendy, how are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, Everett. How are you?
I am doing great. I love this studio that you are in. This is fantastic. Look at that.
I am surrounded by purple. And I want to thank Attended Events for letting me use their studio.
It's beautiful. And I understand you've got a launch party that you're doing after this.
I do. I have a virtual launch party and then an in-person launch party. So this is an entire day of partying.
Fantastic. That's exactly the way it should be. And this is a big day. You've been working on, well, how long have you been working on this book?
I have been working on this book for over 3 years. So the fact that it is out today and that people can actually get their hands on it in paper and digitally is amazing.
Wonderful. So let's do this. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we're going to get into the energy of belonging.
Sure. I am an organizational consultant and a professional speaker. I work with organizations and audiences who want to learn more about what they can do to contribute to a culture of belonging in their workplace and really beyond that. My mission in this world is to convince every person that they belong here. And that's what I do in all facets of my work. I do professional speaking, training, consulting, and then on the side, I'm also an adjunct professor at Duke University.
You sound a little busy, Wendy.
Just a little bit.
We think about that. So you decided, when did you decide to write this book? I mean, there was a time where some spark went off in your head and you went, okay, I need to put this information in a book. Describe that. Like, what brought you to that point?
Well, I was doing a fair amount of professional speaking at conferences and associations, talking about what it is that we can do to help our colleagues feel more connected to each other. And it was amazing to me that after every presentation, I would have people come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I heard myself in your story. Can you come talk to my organization?" Or my team needs your help, or I know somebody who needs your help. And there were so many people who would respond that way that it helps me realize that our desire to belong is universal. And I wanted to share what we can do to contribute to that. So that's what led to me deciding to write the actual book.
Excellent. And of course, by doing it in a book format, you, instead of going one-to-one or one-to-few, you can go one to really an unlimited number of people with that message. And so it makes sense. A lot of people are very limited in their scope of impact because they can only get to so many people. They can only help so many people. And here through your book, you'll be able to help so many more. Who did you write? Who did you write the book for?
I wrote this book for people, for employees, wherever they sit in an organization, who see their colleagues, their BFFs, their workplace BFFs, and people they care about who feel disengaged or disrespected or not respected, or who don't feel safe. And those employees want to do something to help their colleagues feel like they belong, to contribute to their colleagues' sense of belonging. But they didn't know what to do. So I wrote it for employees at any level of an organization.
And I think that's one of the things that I love most about your book, by the way. We see a lot of books that are really aimed at leadership.
Mhm.
They're for top-down changes in organizations. You've taken a completely different approach here by saying, look, obviously those things are important too. The top-down
Mhm.
stuff is important too,
Yeah.
but not every organization is going to engage in that. And so here you are equipping people. It's like, hey, it begins with me. What can I do here? Um,
Exactly.
I agree.
And that is another thing that led to me wanting to write this book, because I saw resources for leadership. I saw resources for HR folks, but I didn't see resources that were geared towards the largest audience in an organization, the frontline employees. So
Yeah,
I wrote it.
yeah, and that makes perfect sense. So why don't we do this? Let's dive into some of these things because your book claims that you've given 75 different ways for people to build this workplace community. Let's go through a few. Let's take some time and dive in.
All right, there are 75 ideas, and fortunately, they are divided into 3 sets of 25 ideas. As I got into looking at what it is that creates a sense of belonging in an organization, I noticed a theme that for employees to feel a sense of belonging at work, they need to feel connected to their colleagues and their leaders. They need to feel respected, and they need to feel protected. So for each of those 3 areas, there are 25 ideas that you, as an employee, as a BFF, as a leader, as someone who wants to contribute to an organization, you've got 25 ideas that you can choose from to connect with, demonstrate respect, or create a safe harbor for the colleagues you work with.
All right.
So let's start with connect.
All right, let's do that. So I'm in your book right now in
Mhm.
Connect, and let's talk about. I'm just picking one at random, so I hope I don't put you on the spot. All right. So you've got 25 ideas to spark connection at work. I'm
Mhm.
going to page 49 of your book,
Okay.
and let's go to. Well, this is what I love. It's so practical. Here's the deal. It's so practical, and of course, some of them are going to be really simple, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because it makes them doable, right?
Exactly. That is precisely my approach. Is I want to make building belonging doable for everyone. What I've seen is that we tend to overcomplicate belonging. It's one of these things that we struggle to understand. It's kind of nebulous. And we, as humans, have a tendency to overcomplicate that which we don't understand. So, what's remarkable about the ideas that I'm sharing is how simple they are. They kind of defy our common thinking that belonging is complex, because the ideas are so simple. They are intentionally simple so that they are doable. You hit the nail on the head, Everett.
Well, and I love it. Let me just give some examples of it. Invite someone who enters the room to sit next to you. Super simple. Would we think to do it? Not necessarily. Does that make someone feel more, together with you? Absolutely. Invite someone to join you for a short break. Love it. I like this one. Explain inside jokes or funny shared memories to new team members.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can't you remember a time where you were one of the newer people on the team, and maybe a bunch of you have gone into the break room, or you're chatting before a virtual meeting starts, and somebody goes, "Oh my gosh, remember that time when blah, 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 blah," and you weren't there. And when nobody takes the time to bring you into the story, you feel excluded.
Yeah. But-
Yeah.
And one of the things I like about your approach, Wendy, is this. There are a lot of people in, let me say it this way, a lot of people in the DEI space who, in order to avoid that, would say, don't use any inside jokes. Don't tell any of those past stories because these other people weren't part of it, so they don't belong when you do that. Instead, you're saying, well, no, explain it. You know,
Invite them in. Yeah.
then they feel perhaps like, because then they might relate to it. They may go, oh, that actually is really funny.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny. I lately been watching For All Mankind, which is an amazing series. But one of the things that they do is one of the jokes comes from the old Bob Newhart show, where they're always going, "Hi Bob, hi Bob, hi Bob," and that's this inside joke that nobody else gets unless it's explained. And then you're like, "Oh, okay, I love it." So I love that approach. Give us some more. Give us some more things.
Uh, in terms of respect, one of the easiest way to demonstrate to someone that you respect them is to ask for their advice. So if I am like, in fact, Evan Carroll, the owner of Attended Events, is one of the examples that I use. Evan, as you can tell by this amazing studio, is an expert in terms of technology to use when creating a home studio. So when I was getting ready to set up my home studio, I asked Evan if he could give me 5 or 10 minutes to answer some questions for me about what kind of technology it made sense to invest in. And he appreciated that I knew his expertise and that I wanted to tap into it. I didn't make him responsible for solving my problems of creating a home studio, but he felt respected that I knew his expertise, I valued his expertise, and I wanted his opinion.
Yeah, I think that's a terrific example, and it goes also to that the idea that in the workplace, if you're asking people for their input, they're also more likely to support the initiative, right?
Yeah.
If people support what they create, and if they're going to create with you, you know. Of course, I know people sometimes feel obligated. They're like, wait, if I ask them for their advice and I don't go with their advice, am I going to, have the opposite result? Will I offend them in some way? Now, I saw a question that came in, so I'm going to bring it up here. And the question is, how do you envision the workplace evolving if more organizations embrace the principles of belonging outlined in your book?
I love that question. There are lots of ways that workplaces will evolve. First of all, there will be a stronger sense of community within the organization as a whole. And from a business perspective, organizations, there's research that shows that organizations with a stronger sense of belonging have stronger performance, they are more profitable, they are more innovative, and they benefit from less turnover. So there are lots of ways that organizations can evolve when there's a stronger sense of belonging, whether their workforce is in person, hybrid, or completely remote.
Okay. Now, I want to remind everybody the Energy of Belonging is available today on Amazon. It's available there on paperback and Kindle. And the Kindle's on a special launch price of 99 cents. So absolutely pick that up. And remember, this is not a book that you are going to want to just get for yourself and like keep these secrets. This is the perfect kind of book to pass around to your team, to really anybody, because remember, you don't have to be in the C-suite or in a management position to benefit from this, though they would all benefit from this. But this is anybody who works anywhere can utilize this to create a better work environment for themselves and for their coworkers. So definitely pick up a copy today of that. Now, Wendy, let's go to some other ones here. Okay, your
Okay.
You also talk about we've hit on connect, we've hit on respect. Um, Another part is protect. So you talk about connect and you give 25 simple ideas to protect your colleagues. And for those people who pick up a copy of the book, that's on page 106. Is there a special way or things, some of the tips that you'd like to share from that there from protect your colleagues?
Yeah, one of the things I love about the idea of creating psychological safety or creating safe environments for colleagues is finding out how your colleagues do their best work. You know, whether you are an in-person team or a hybrid or a virtual team, there are some people who work better in the morning. Some people hit their stride in the afternoon. So having a better understanding, having conversations about and understanding how and when your colleagues do their best work, and then creating schedules and like project schedules and meeting schedules around that can show that you respect and you are safeguarding your colleagues' time by making sure that they've got uninterrupted time to do their work when they do their best work. So having those conversations, whether you are a leader or not, you can have a conversation as a team about I prefer to hit, I tend to hit my stride in the afternoon. So if we could sometimes schedule our team meetings earlier in the day, I would appreciate that. And yeah, you're going to have people who have different times, but if you rotate that, then you demonstrate as a team, you demonstrate that you want to protect your colleagues' best work time.
I think that's really clever and insightful, and it also makes me go to the whole boundary issue of how some of your coworkers are great at setting boundaries, and some of them are not. And I think about it, it's like, okay, if you've got a project that you know isn't due for a while, but you've got a coworker who, if you assign it late in the day, they're probably gonna like, oh, I'm gonna just work on it over the evening and knock it
Mhm,
out so it's here tomorrow morning, just because that's their nature. You might protect them by not assigning it then,
mhm.
right? Like share it with them tomorrow rather than tonight, or I suppose if it's a problem, right? It's a problem that can wait till tomorrow, and you're like, well, I don't need them stressing on it overnight. I guess that would be another way, perhaps, to protect them.
Yeah, exactly. That's a 26th idea,
Ah, you put that in the next edition,
the next edition.
you know. But no, I think that's terrific. Now, Wendy, when you sat down to do this book, and I don't know, I'm not sure I prepared you for this question. Sometimes parts of books write themselves. Like we see this over and over. Like so other times it's like trying to push a rope, right? But were there parts of this book that you felt like just kind of jumped out and like just flew off your fingers as you were writing?
For me, well, I realized that I haven't explained that when I sought to discover what it is that, what kinds of behaviors that employees at any level of an organization can do, what behaviors contribute to a sense of belonging, I intentionally did not come up with these ideas myself. I asked employees at all levels in all kinds of organizations to tell me what's one thing your colleagues do that help you feel connected to them? What's one thing your leader does that demonstrates that they respect you? So I asked by virtue of conversations, by the belonging at work survey that's been distributed, so by asking others for what are things that your colleagues and leaders do that demonstrate that demonstrate that they want to connect with you, demonstrate respect, and to protect you. So once I gathered those responses, there's a part in each of the sections of the book that share some of the top 10 most common responses to the survey. That section in each that part of each of the three sections really kind of wrote itself because what I loved in that I asked Now, I have over 1,500 responses at the time I was writing the book. I had over 1,500 survey responses from people all over the world in different industries, different positions. And yet, despite all of those differences, that there was a tendency, there were commonalities in what were some of the most common responses to what makes us feel connected, respected, and protected. So those sections really kind of wrote themselves.
That's fantastic. And you highlight another thing that's so great about your book is your book is very prescriptive in the sense that you're sharing solutions with people, and it's not don'ts, it's all do's. We live in a world where we've been hearing a lot of don'ts,
Mhm.
right? Don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. And yours is do, 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 do. And it makes me think of, like with our children, they would hear no, 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 when a lot of times the much more effective is here, let's do this. Let me show you how to do this. And it makes it all very positive instead of very negative. And that seems to be the approach that you've taken. Was that intentional? Was that like I'm going this way rather than saying don't do this?
Well, yes, I think that there are so many more messages in our society today that tell us what we can't and shouldn't do. So from that perspective, yes, I wanted to provide behaviors that people can do wherever they are in an organization without a budget, without a lot of time, and without a specific set of skills. So, in that way, I was very intentional about providing things you can do. I also want to point out that you don't have to do all 25 of them. You can choose any of them. They are not linear. You can pick item number 17 and our idea number 17 and go with that one if you want. And you can also take one of these ideas and riff on it and add your own flavor, your own spice to it. Because I want to provide people with a toolkit that they can pull from and try any of the ideas that resonate with them.
Excellent. I think in doing this, you've really created a positive experience for your reader. Now, shall we continue on? You want to go to so we've talked about connect and respect and protect. Um, Ultimately, actually, you have a story, and I don't know if you're prepared to share it, but you talk about Ken's light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about Ken's light bulb moment?
Yeah, it's in the summary, and actually this was the section I was planning to read.
Oh, fantastic! We lucked out.
Yeah, so in the summary section, I explain um, as I was wrapping up a training program with an organization, there was an employee named Ken who came up to me. So can I read this part, Everett?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ken's light bulb moment. It's that simple. It's that simple, isn't it? Ken asked me, holding a "You Belong Here" sticker in front of him with the expression of someone who'd made an astonishing discovery. His question touched my soul because it showed me he got it. Ken realized that something as small and simple as a sticker can build belonging in his workplace community. When I do training programs in organizations, I wrap up the training program by explaining my message of "You belong here." And so I've got a slide that has a big image of "You belong here." And then I also explain that for me, I am a visual and vocal ally for the LGBTQ plus community. And as I hear voices that are not supporting that community get louder, I feel called to raise my voice and to be more visual in being an ally for the community. So I also invite, I have a standard version of the "You Belong Here" sticker, and then I also have a pride version of the sticker. I show that sticker, and I invite anyone who wants to, for whatever reason, anyone who wants one of the pride versions of the sticker to come up to me afterwards. I don't force it on anyone. I simply open the invitation. And it was seeing a pride version of the sticker that facilitated Ken's light bulb moment.
Mm. And I appreciate it. It is so many times the simple things, and and when you can make it simple for people, they will take action. If it's complex, if it's nebulous, they won't. And it seems to me like that's what you've set out to do with this book, is to communicate simple ways that you can create this feeling of belonging in your business.
Exactly.
Now, Wendy, we've got just a couple minutes here. Is there any final thought that you'd like to leave viewers with?
Yeah, what I see is that we tend to overcomplicate creating a sense of belonging. And because we think it's something that we don't quite understand, we tend to think, I don't have any power to do that. I don't have the authority, or not that I don't have the responsibility, but I don't have enough authority or power to contribute to a sense of belonging, to contribute to my organization's culture. And I am here to tell you that you do have the power, you have the authority, and now you have the ability to contribute to creating the kind of organizational culture where you and your workplace BFFs and your other colleagues feel like they belong.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Wendy. And if people want to reach out to you to bring you in for speaking or to hire you, what's the best way for people to reach you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. Wendy Gates Corbett is my profile, and you can also reach out to me through my website, wendygatescorbett.com.
All right, I'm putting that in the chat log there for people. Now, thank you so much for coming on, Wendy. This has been great. Congratulations again on your book launch. This is such an exciting day, and I'm just thrilled that you have seen this through to the end, because I know it's writing a book and getting a book out is not an easy journey.
It isn't. And Everett, I need to take a moment to thank you and your entire team for guiding me through this process. I knew that I could not do this alone, and I just so appreciate how much time, attention, and focus you dedicated to helping guide me through this process. I cannot thank you enough.
You are so welcome, and I'm excited to see what happens with this day, because this Amazon launch is on. It's and actually I'm privy to some early results. I'm excited to see, but we're not going to share that with everybody just yet. We're hold that one a little bit close to our vest. Well, Wendy, thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to sign us off here. So please do pick up your copy today of The Energy of Belonging. You can get it today on Amazon, where the Kindle is 99 cents. The paperback is also available. And by the way, if you don't read Kindle, just know that there is a Kindle app on every smartphone, on every tablet, and you can even use Kindle readers on PCs and Macs. So really every device. Now, if you have an idea for a book, if you've ever considered what would a book do for your business or your brand, reach out to me. You can find us at ignitepress.us. That's ignitepress.us. You can schedule a book consultation with me personally, and we can talk about your ideas, your vision. And this can apply to a book that is just a random idea in your head, or a manuscript you've completed and haven't done anything with, or a book you've already published and you're interested in perhaps doing a relaunch or a refresh. So reach out to us there. Thank you again for joining us on this livecast.